supermarket, you can buy everything.
One of the hardest parts about managing food allergies is understanding how to read a food label. The purpose of this video is not to determine if certain foods are or are not safe for a person with a certain food allergy profile. It is to help people understand how to make such a determination for themselves.
If you need milk, or if you need bread, then there's a place where you should head.
Did you know that more than 8% of foods with advisory labeling for peanut actually contain detectable levels of peanut? Since advisory labeling is voluntary in the United States, it is not hard to imagine how many unlabeled foods there are with trace amounts of allergens. The Food Allergen Labeling and Consumer Protection Act, which took effect January 1, 2006, mandates that the labels of food containing the 8 major food allergens – milk, eggs, fish, crustacean shellfish, peanuts, tree nuts, wheat, and soy – declare the allergen in plain language, either in the ingredient list or via the word contains followed by the name of the major food allergen, for example, contains milk in wheat, or a parenthetical statement in the list of ingredients, for example, albumin, egg. The top 8 allergens must be listed if they are present in any amount, even in colors, flavors, or spice blends. These are the top 8 food allergens. Additionally, manufacturers must list the specific nut or specific seafood that is used. This product has a mandatory label but no voluntary statement. This product has both a mandatory label and a voluntary statement. Understanding what voluntary statements are is an important part of label reading. Some companies voluntarily label their products with statements like may contain or processed in a facility, etc. It is important to know that these companies are choosing to label their products this way. Since there is no law mandating them to provide such labeling, they are not required to use specific language or formatting. Examples of voluntary statements include processed on equipment shared with peanuts, tree nuts, and soy. May contain trace amounts of milk and egg. Processed in a facility that processes wheat, egg, and tree nuts. Processed in a plant that uses peanuts. May contain soy. Manufactured in a facility that also processes fish and shellfish. There are over 25 different kinds of voluntary labels. Here are some examples. Essentially, voluntary statements are all the same in that they are trying to communicate that there is at least some risk of cross-contact with a specific allergen in the product they are labeling. The absence of voluntary labeling does not mean anything. One should never assume that the lack of a voluntary label means a certain product is safe. Apart from voluntary labeling issues, some companies also have misleading labeling. For example, a product might declare on the front that it is nut-free, while on the back there is a voluntary statement that says the product is manufactured in a facility that also processes peanuts and tree nuts. Although this product says it is nut-free, it is manufactured in a facility that processes peanuts and tree nuts. A lot of companies have inconsistent labeling, so it is important to always read the labels very carefully. While Hershey's drops have a cross-contact warning, Hershey's Kisses do not. So, if it is hard to tell whether or not a product is safe by reading labels, what should I do? The best way to determine if a food is safe or not, if you are concerned about cross-contact with an allergen, is to call the company or to visit the company's website. Increasingly, food manufacturers are providing allergen information to consumers online. It is important to know your comfort level when reading labels. Some people avoid foods that have a risk of cross-contact with their allergen, while others do not. It can be helpful to talk with your allergist to determine the appropriate level of avoidance for one's allergy profile. Labels can change at any time, so make sure to always read the label. Hostess recently changed some of their products by adding trace amounts of peanut flour. The box remained the same, but the product and labeling has changed.